Thousands of golden, steaming bagels are prepared every day in bakeries around the world. Their fluffy texture and unmistakable flavour have made them a favourite across many cultures. But what makes this simple-looking ring of bread so irresistible? To find out, we step into the production line of one of New York's most famous bakeries to discover the process. Bagels were born in the Jewish communities of Poland in the 17th century, with a legend that tells of a baker who celebrated a military victory by creating bread in the shape of a stirrup. Others connect it to the Arab kayak, a baked ring that travelled along trade routes in the Middle Ages. Its central hole is not just decorative, it allowed vendors to stack and sell them easily in marketplaces. The secret of its dense, elastic texture lies in boiling them before baking, a double strike that makes them irresistible. By the late 19th century, Jewish immigrants brought bagels to New York, where the city's mineral-rich water gave them a unique touch. In the 1920s, unions protected their artisanal production, and although mass production became automated in the 1960s, many bakeries still preserve the tradition. Today, they remain a New York icon, able to turn a simple breakfast into a ritual. So, how does the process unfold inside a bakery that produces bagels? In this bakery, work begins at 3 in the morning while the city still sleeps. Bakers gather around a 90-kilo batch of dough, enough to shape 1,000 bagels. On high-demand days, production can reach up to 15,000. Everything starts with the arrival of the ingredients, carefully chosen to keep tradition intact. High-quality flour, active yeast, precise amounts of salt, and barley malt. A dark syrup that gives natural sweetness, and that golden tone impossible to mimic with industrial brown sugar. The malt is measured with exact precision, adjusting its proportion depending on humidity to keep the dough at the ideal consistency. But what is the secret behind the perfect bagel texture? Here, a modern dough conditioner plays its role, guaranteeing a crisp crust and soft interior, an effect that was once achieved with honey or other natural enhancers. Water also has its part to play, always from the tap, always at the right temperature, colder in summer to control fermentation, warmer in winter to activate it without causing thermal shock. The flour arrives in bulk, 3,000 kilos stacked in sacks, enough for barely 2 days. While it is not especially rich in gluten, it has a remarkable ability to retain moisture and form a compact structure, able to withstand the boiling step unique to bagels. From there, it goes into the industrial mixer, where it blends with the rest of the ingredients in a continuous, steady motion. Yeast, a living element, slowly transforms the mixture, developing flavour and structure. For specialty varieties, ingredients are added: eggs for colour and softness, dried cranberries for a fruity twist, or dried garlic and onion for an extra punch of flavour. Each addition is weighed down to the gram to preserve balance. Mixing is guided not only by time, but also by experience and feel. How do bakers know when the dough is ready? By its elasticity, temperature, and moisture. It must be firm yet flexible, slightly sticky but not clinging, and kept under 24 degrees Celsius to prevent premature fermentation. Water is adjusted depending on the weather, less on humid days, more on dry ones. This ensures that when divided into portions, the dough is perfect for shaping into the bagels everyone is waiting for. At the work table, the dough is cut into blocks and pressed back together, pushing out air bubbles for a uniform texture. It is like assembling pieces that fit perfectly. Then it is covered with plastic film for 5 minutes, a short pause that relaxes the gluten and makes shaping easier. If skipped, the dough would tighten and tear easily. Next comes the team of 4 expert rollers, each with years of experience. This craft is not learned in a classroom, but through daily repetition, perfecting the movement until mastered. They cut strips of dough the width of a finger, roll them into cylinders 20 to 25 centimeters long, and then close them into rings, sealing the ends with a firm twist or a light overlap. The pace is quick, but every motion is calculated to avoid mistakes. Each baker leaves their mark: a tighter seal, a sharper edge. Small details that ensure no 2 bagels are exactly alike. The shaped bagels are placed on trays lined with non-stick paper or dusted with semolina, and covered so they do not dry out. They rest for 30 minutes at room temperature, allowing a light expansion that begins the development of flavour. Then they move into cold chambers at about 3 degrees Celsius, where they ferment slowly for 24 to 48 hours. This chilling step, inherited from ancient techniques, controls growth and preserves the dense texture that defines a bagel. If they were allowed to rise too much, they would lose that compact structure, a key part of their identity, especially in the original versions meant to withstand long journeys. In the large fermentation rooms, trays are stacked on metal racks that can hold up to 15,000 bagels in a single haul, and between 7,000 and 8,000 in another. This living inventory quietly preserves the deep aroma of yeast at work. Then comes the step that truly defines the bagel: boiling. In a massive kettle, water simmers gently, enriched with a touch of malt or baking soda to create an alkaline medium that gives the crust its shine and texture. Bagels are dropped in groups, float for a moment, then sink slightly. Why so much care here? Because 30 to 60 seconds per side are enough to gelatinize the starches and seal the surface, reinforcing the structure. Without this thermal shock, a bagel would be nothing more than a ring-shaped bread. Once out of the water, they are drained quickly to avoid excess moisture. Still hot, they are placed on boards sprinkled with toppings that add flavour and texture. Sesame seeds for a nutty touch, poppy seeds for a light crunch, or the iconic everything mix, created in New York in the 1970s, that combines garlic, onion, salt, and other spices. Bakers, with their hands dipped in cold water to withstand the heat, sprinkle toppings on top as well, ensuring even coverage. Each board holds 6 bagels, preventing them from sticking and keeping the workflow steady. This stage requires coordination. While one person manages the boiling, another prepares bagels for the oven. And here comes the true engine of the bakery, the rotary oven. This robust machine can handle up to 16 boards at once, baking nearly 1,000 bagels per hour. Its rotation spreads heat evenly, keeping the temperature around 260 degrees Celsius. The baking cycle lasts 15 to 20 minutes. Halfway through, the boards are flipped to achieve an even golden crust. The result? Heat caramelizes natural sugars, toasts the seeds, and forms a firm crust that cracks under pressure. Inside, the crumb reveals a soft texture with well-defined air pockets and an aroma that proves every step was worth it. In this bakery, production is not limited to just one style. Around 30 varieties of bagels come out of the oven each week. But beyond bagels, they also prepare sandwiches that mix tradition and creativity. Smoked salmon with cream cheese, crispy bacon with egg, and melted cheese, and other combinations that blend Jewish heritage with American culinary flair. The team, made up of 43 people, works like a perfectly synchronized machine, yet without losing the warmth of a family. They serve about 3,500 customers a week, and on weekends, lines can stretch for hours, recalling those old marketplaces where bread was a symbol of community. Some customers have been returning for over 50 years, drawn not only by the fresh flavour, but also by an atmosphere that keeps the past alive. Work never stops. Ingredients are combined into a firm dough, shaped by hand, slowly fermented, boiled to seal its texture, seasoned with care, and baked to perfection. Why so much attention to detail? Because in an artisanal bagel, the recipe alone is not enough. What matters is the hand rolling, the precise boiling time, and the exact oven temperature. Everything shapes the final result: a crust that cracks on the first bite, a chewy interior, and a flavour that unfolds with every mouthful. Few foods carry as much tradition, symbolism, and versatility as the bagel. Well, there is another, the pretzel. Its twisted shape, unmistakable even from a distance, is as iconic as the aroma it releases fresh from the oven. But how is it made on a large scale? Let's travel to a factory in Germany to discover the process. The pretzel, known in German as Brezel or Brezen, has an origin surrounded by legends. One of the most popular versions traces it back to European monasteries during the Middle Ages. According to tradition, a monk from southern Germany or northern Italy designed the knotted dough to symbolize arms crossed in prayer. The 3 open spaces created by the twist were interpreted as the Holy Trinity. Another story claims that pretzels were created as a reward for children learning their prayers, which is why their name comes from the Latin word brachiola, little arms. Over time, the pretzel became a symbol of good luck, prosperity, and unity, and its popularity spread across Europe. In the 18th century, German immigrants brought it to the United States, especially to Pennsylvania, where it remains an iconic product today. Although the gesture of twisting the dough by hand still survives in traditional bakeries, industrial production has made pretzels available in supermarkets and fast food chains around the world. The key lies in replicating the steps of artisanal baking, but on a massive scale and in much shorter times. But how is pretzel production handled in a factory? The process begins with dough preparation. An operator places butter, sugar, and salt into an industrial mixer. The machine, programmed with absolute precision, automatically adds yeast, corn syrup, 200 litres of cold water, and 345 kilos of flour. The choice of cold water is no small detail. It prevents the yeast from activating too early and keeps the dough flexible, allowing it to be shaped without hardening too soon. The mix is beaten until it reaches a uniform texture, smooth yet firm. At this point, the dough is ready to move to the next phase. The mixer opens, dropping the dough into large blocks that are soon transferred onto mechanical work tables. There, the blocks are divided into manageable portions that pass into a hopper. A conveyor then feeds each piece toward automatic blades that cut them into exact portions. 70 grams for small pretzels and 140 grams for the larger ones. Next, 2 conveyor belts stretch these portions into cylinders about 40 centimeters long, known as dough noodles. A specialized machine takes each strip, crosses the ends, and folds them, forming that unique shape with 3 holes that everyone recognizes instantly. But what comes next to bring this dough to life? The shaped pretzels gently land on a conveyor belt, where they rest for 14 minutes. This pause is not random. It is the perfect time for fermentation to add volume and texture. Too short a rest would leave the bread dense, too long, and the shape would collapse. After this delicate balance, the pretzels enter an alkaline bath at 82 degrees Celsius, immersed in a sodium hydroxide solution. This step is the secret behind the characteristic golden colour and bold flavour. The solution seals the surface, deepens the taste, and creates a thin crust that protects the soft interior. This alkaline bath is not a modern trick. It is a tradition dating back to medieval recipes, and it remains an essential step to distinguish a pretzel from any other bread. The next step is baking. Fast but intense. Just 3.5 minutes at 293 degrees Celsius. In that brief span, the flames brown the surface, firm up the crust, and prevent the bread from sticking to the conveyor. And the inside? It stays soft and fluffy, ready for the next stage. Once out of the oven, the pretzels move along a cooling belt that stabilizes their temperature before facing an even harsher process: freezing. The extreme cold tunnel stretches more than 175 meters, the length of 7 Olympic pools in a row. For 30 minutes, at -58 degrees Celsius, the pretzels harden, ensuring they reach consumers intact and preserve all their qualities until reheated at home. And how is this constant flow of product managed? Here, robotic precision comes into play. A camera detects the exact position of each pretzel on the belt, and a mechanical arm picks them up at a rate of 1 per second. This is just one of 5 robots working on the production line, each coordinated to maintain speed and order. After a gentle descent down a ramp, the pretzels reach the packaging area. There comes the finishing touch. Each package receives a small pouch of coarse salt, preserving the tradition of seasoning the pretzel right before eating. Plastic bags are inflated with compressed air to protect their shape, while robotic arms place the pretzels and salt inside. Finally, another robot arranges the bags into cardboard boxes, ready to ship to their destinations. The pretzel is much more than a simple bread with a curious shape. It is a cultural icon with fascinating facts you might not know. Its interlaced form has inspired everything from logos to local flags and even public sculptures, showing how a simple design can transcend into visual and social culture. Despite industrialization and technological advances, many artisanal bakeries still prepare pretzels by hand, honoring family recipes passed down through generations. And even though modern factories rely on advanced machinery, certain essential steps, like the alkaline bath, are carried out with the same care and respect as centuries ago, keeping the tradition alive. The pretzel remains a bridge between tradition and innovation, a food that has travelled across continents and adapted to the tastes of each culture while never losing its original essence. And that is how the production line of bagels and pretzels looks from the inside. Tell me, what did you think of these processes? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. In the screens coming up next, you will find more videos you might enjoy. Go ahead, click and explore. See you next time.